How do I go about doing a great CMA for my client when it comes to pricing their home for sale? The CMA, or competitive market analysis, is really the crux of your pricing strategy when you go to take your home to market. A properly done CMA ensures a shorter period on market, a better negotiating position, and ultimately netting the most money in the shortest period of time in the sale of your home. And so this is a critical component of the sales process. So I thought I might share with you kind of the 3 core steps to doing a great CMA, the kinds of things that an automated valuation of your home cannot do on your behalf. So this is some of the secret sauce around what real estate agents do to value your home. The first thing you want to do is get the facts. And so the facts are obviously the straightforward things like what amenities does your home have, and also what amenities does your home not have, because you're going to be looking at that information later on when you look at the comps. The second thing that we suggest our clients do to get a really accurate valuation of the property, and not everyone does it, is actually have a pre-listing inspection done before you go to market to identify any major compromises or expenses in the health of your home, so that you can bake that into the asking price and not let that issue come up later and ultimately derail the sale of your home. And then the other thing that you want to do, and again, this is something that automated valuation methodologies can't do, is check for market trends. When you look at comps, and comps are important, we'll talk about that in a second. When you look at comps, all you're doing is looking behind you in the past. You want to look at the trends. What are interest rates doing? What is inflation doing? What season are we in? How are we seeing trends in this specific neighborhood? What developments in and around that area are impacting supply and or demand of properties? All of those market trends drive the facts, the sort of the constellation of information that you're going to be making this evaluation within. The second thing is you want to find the right comparable sales. And this is something of an art form for real estate agents. Obviously, location is important. The closer that comparable sale is to your house, the more relevant it's going to be, ideally in the same subdivision. And then also, what amenities does it have? How many bedrooms? How many baths? Does it have the same fenced backyard? Does it have a pool? What's the proximity to schools? Is it even in a school district? All those things are things that we want to find as close parallels as possible to your subject property. The other thing that I do want to mention is appraisers only look at comparable sales that are up to 6 months old. And so you never want to, or ideally you don't want to use homes that have sold more than 6 months ago. And I should say, in addition to that, a home that is 1 month old, and when it was sold 1 month ago versus one that was sold 3 or 4 months ago, is much more valuable. It's much more current information that you can place more value in. You trust more as a better barometer of value for your specific property. Now, that being said, you also want to look at the competitive landscape of the moment, because what happened in the past is what happens in the past. What if there are more listings on the market right now than there were 6 months ago? What if there's less? Both of those and the absorption of new inventory coming on the market are all big drivers of your pricing strategy when you're doing your CMA. And then the final component is that once you've got all of the facts around your house, once you've looked at all the comparable sales, and you've gathered some information about trends going on in your market, then you actually make the adjustments. And that's where you're going to go ahead and come up with a valuation for your property. Now, one of the reasons you hire a real estate agent is because you're so directly invested in and bring so much of your own personal bias into your own property. But if you are doing this on your own, you want to try and remove your bias. And the question that you can ask yourself is, okay, I've got these comparable sales in front of me. If I was just shown this house by my agent, and my agent said, I told my agent I want to make an offer, and my agent gives me these comps and says, here's recent sales in the neighborhood, what do you want to pay? Sort of like mind experiment to go through to try and remove as much as possible your own bias as the seller. Put yourself in the buyer's shoes, look at recent comps and say, okay, based on this information, here's a price that I feel is a fair price to pay for the home. And that's the best way to remove that bias and come up with a reasonable expectation for market value. So that's the scoop, guys. I've pulled back the secret realtor curtain and shared with you how we go about doing a CMA. Hope that was helpful, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for your time.